Hey, what's up, YouTube family? It's your favorite black guy from Nebraska. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, blessed day. Hope everything's going your way. I'm back with some more content, man. Let me tell you something. I'm going to say this again. I've been saying this. Archive.org is a wonderful place for information. Free information, okay? This is like this. I can compare this to, you know how you go to the thrift store, the Goodwill, and you get there and then you searching and then you find that one or two things that's like, how did this get in here? Like, this doesn't belong here. That is just like archive.org, where you find information. This is another book that's a gold mine. It's an incredible find, and you're gonna find some information out in this book that's gonna just solidify what's already been put out there. The book is called Jews and Blacks in the Early Modern World by Jonathan Schwartz, Columbia University, and it is from the Cambridge University Press. So those Cambridge University pressed this book. So it's solidified, man. So yeah, please go check it out, y'all. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Go check it out. You can do the same thing I'm doing. I'm going to continue to say it until you understand it. So we're going to begin in the midway part of this book because that's where it's really good. And right off the bat, you're going to be like, whoa. Once I start, reading the book, you're going to be like, wow, okay, pretty cool. So, hey, man, I appreciate you guys' support. Please like, share, and subscribe, man, because I don't know. I got videos that go crazy, and I got videos that's like, but it's all good information. So if you watch this one, please check out my content before this one. It's great stuff. Really, really good stuff. Definitely the one that I most recently put out. Maybe two, I think it was this weekend I put it out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Some moments of incipient autoethnography. Despite the discursive silence, the increasing reluctance and discomfort surrounding the admission of slaves into Judaism correlated directly with the blackening of the slave population and the rising importance for Jews of seeing themselves and having themselves seen as white. Contra Robert Cohen and other scholars, early modern Jews were not automatically white. What? You don't say. Each age, perhaps, needs to work out its own scheme of ethnic relations, part of which often entails the production of a color hierarchy. Much evidence shows that both Jews and non-Jews during the early colonial era were ambivalent about the racial status of Jews. There are some medieval Jewish expressions to the effect that Jews were seen in Europe as black and ugly. Keeping in mind that blackness or whiteness is always a relative matter. Indeed, the metaphysical reading one text gave to this color scheme reflects the polemical usages such physical theories acquired, perhaps always had. The 13th century text of Polemics by R. Yosef B. Natan Official and the Sefer Natzahn Yashua, a guide for Jews disputing Christians, probably written in early 14th century German lands, contained nearly identical answers to charges of Jewish ugliness and blackness. The heretics, i.e. Christians, ask and say, why are the majority of Gentiles, i.e. Christians, white and attractive, while the majority of Jews are black and ugly? That's a question. Reply to them that it is comparable to fruit. When it begins to blossom, it is white. After it is finished, then it turns black. As with sloes and plums, and every fruit that is red to begin with, when it is done, is white. As with apples and pears for apricots. And this is testimony for Israel, that they are pure of menstrual blood, and there is here no blood at the start. But for the Gentiles who are not careful to avoid menstruation and have sex at the time that they are menstruating, there is red at the start. Therefore, the fruit comes from this. The children are white. In nearly identical manner, according to the 13th century Sefer Yosef I'll butcher the name, sorry y'all. Because we Jews are from a clean and white seed, therefore our faces are black. But you from the red seed of menstruation, therefore your visages are pale and reddened. It may well be that this charge that Christians saw Jews as black and ugly was invented, and that it reveals more about Jewish self-image than about how Christians actually saw them. Yet similar reactions to the foreigners and darkness of Muslims can be found for more or less the same period in Wolfram von Eschenbach's Percival, where it was stated that a child born of a Christian Muslim couple came out molted white and black. One Christian writer depicted the much reviled Jewish Pope Anacletus II, elected in 1130, as physically deformed, stinking, with a Jewish odor, and dark and pale, more like a Jew or an Arab than a Christian. Early modern non-Jews in Western Europe who appeared to be confused or ambivalent about the color status of Jews. The English Sir William Brereton visited one of the Sephardic synagogues in Amsterdam in 1635 and wrote that, listen, the Jewish men were most black and insatiably given unto women. In 1643, Isaac de la Perrier, I'm sorry, I'm butchering these names, but you get where I'm coming from, contended that once the Jews converted to Christianity, they will no longer have this dark complexion. They will change faces, and the whiteness of their complexion will have the same brightness as an Englishman. John Greenhall visited the Jew synagogue in London and wrote a friend about it in 1662, describing the chief ruler, probably the president of the Parnassum, as a very rich merchant, a big, black, fierce, and stern man. At the letter's end, Greenhall reiterated with ethnographic precision that the 100 or so Jews he saw at the synagogue are all generally black, so as they may be distinguished from Spaniards or native Greeks. For the Jews' hair hath a deeper tincture of a more perfect raven black. In 1690, the Reverend Robert Kirk Erbeful visited the same Christchurch Alley synagogue, ending his depiction of the worship with almost identical ethnographic punctuation. They were all very black men and indistinct in their reasoning as gypsies. So just like the gypsies were black as well. I have a book called Ancient and Modern Britons. I can't remember the author's name, but he describes the gypsies in Europe as being blackamoors. Similar portrayals continued unto the 18th century and later. William Black, Secretary of Commissioners, appointed by Governor William Gooch of Virginia to deal with the Indians, described Hester Levy, a daughter of the wealthiest and best-known New York Jew, Moses Levy, whom he met in June 1744 as a very well-made, her complexion black, but very comely. Black, but very comely. She had 2 charming eyes and a well-turned with a beautiful head of hair, coal black. As late as 1753, during the debate in England over that year's Jewish Naturalization Act, one polemicist suggested that anyone who wanted to look Jewish should rub herself with walnut husks to fix such an indelible hue and make you complete olive beauties with a lively complexion with that of a new Negro from the coast of Guinea. Lady Maria Nugent, visiting an 1803 theater performance in Jamaica's Spanish Town, explicitly separated Jews and whites in her description of the audience members, who were of all colors and descriptions: blacks, browns, Jews, and whites. Now, just to add to the olive thing, a lot of people don't know that olives originally were very, very black. They were very, very dark. If you look up the original olive, you'll see what I'm talking about. Already in 1691, Francis Maximilian Mission, one of the influencers for National History, wrote against such views of Jewish blackness, while bolstering in the process the impression that the idea was not uncommon. It was not uncommon to see Jewish blackness. To also a vulgar error that the Jews are all black, for this is only true of the Portuguese, who, marrying always among one another, beget children like themselves, and consequently the swarthiness of their complexion is entailed upon their whole race, even in the northern regions. But the Jews who are originally of Germany, those, for example, I have seen a Prague, are not blacker than the rest of their countrymen. Toward the latter end of the 18th century, one finds the same changeability of the Jews expressed in updated nuances and geographic context. The Reverend Samuel Stanhope Smith wrote that the Jews are fair in Britain and in Germany, brown in France and in Turkey, swarthy in Portugal and Spain, olive in Syria and in Chaldea, tawny of copper color in Arabia and in Egypt. Perhaps the best indication that the valences involved in such distinctions also conveyed metaphysical importance is the title of a mid-century English translation of a conversionary tract aimed at Jews by the formerly Jewish Samuel of Morocco, the Blessed Jew of Morocco, or a blackamoor, made white, being a demonstration of the time emesis of the land, a law of prophets by Rabbi Samuel York Thomas Broad, 1649. I'm sorry, guys, the letter's really small. I'm sure you guys can read it, but I'm having a really hard time reading it. Christian thought, especially among Iberians, often equated Jews and blacks as a moral manner. The 15th century Portuguese poet Alvaro de Brito Pristina explicated the term Marrano in the following lines, punning on the general negative meaning of Negro. I'm going to try to read this stuff, guys. I'm probably not going to be able to read it. You'll probably be able to read it more than I would. Sam Marranos, An Q Maran, and I'm not going to butcher the rest, but you guys can probably see and pronounce it better than I can. But listen, this is good information, okay? This is great information. So there's no mystery of Jewish blackness. It's not a mystery. Even people who are not black Jews are writing about it in books such as this. So it's not a mystery that in certain areas, definitely in Europe, there were black Jews. You got to think about the black Jews of Portugal and Spain that were kicked out in 1492 and deported to the West Indies, America. They were deported to Africa and other places where there were other tribes of black people. So the black Jews did, in fact, exist, and they still do exist. So this is just 3 pages of this book. There's more to this book that I will read. If you guys want me to read more of this book, please comment in the comment section. Let me know, hey, man, we love this. We enjoyed this. Please continue to read more. We want more information. We need more evidence. We really enjoy this book. Or you can go to archive.org and, man, you can get this for yourself. You can read this for yourself. You can put information out there for yourself. You know what I mean? You can create content just like I'm creating content, okay? www.archive.org. Create yourself an account. And the book is called Jews and Blacks in Early Modern History. So it's your favorite black guy from Nebraska. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, please, if you guys are not getting my notifications as far as me dropping content, please visit my page when you get a chance when you're on YouTube, because YouTube is not sending out the bell that I have not new content coming out. So some get it, some don't. So I hope you guys have a blessed night. I take my test to get my CDL license this Thursday at 10. So please, all my brothers and sisters in Christ, please pray for me, because I need the help. I need the strength. And, you know, even though I've been studying, I've been going hard and everything, you know, sometimes when the pressure is there, you tend to just forget stuff. So please just pray for me. So it's your favorite black guy from Nebraska. I'm out. Peace.